Hey guys, so today we're going to revisit the circle lesson. I know that when we did the circle lesson last week, a lot of people were absent, and I just want to make sure that everybody understands, okay, how to find area and how to find the diameter of a circle. So we're going to um, redo the lesson, and then I'm going to give you an opportunity to do some problems on your own because should just be review. Okay, so let's see. So now I'm going to go over the notes. Now remember, we do have notes in your Google Classroom from last week. I'm going to repost them in there with this Edpuzzle so that you have them again. Okay, but here's our circle. Okay, remember that the center of the circle, okay, the center of the circle is the same distance. Not going with me here. Okay. Okay. Now, again, remember where I can't draw, and I can draw even worse when I am on a computer. So bear with me here. Okay. From the center of the circle to the outside of the circle, it doesn't matter where we're going, which direction, but anywhere from the center of the circle to the outside of the circle, we call that distance the radius. Okay. So the radius is the distance. Okay. We call that the radius. Okay, we call that distance the radius. Now, the radius is the distance, again, from the center to the outside of the circle, and it doesn't matter where on the circle it's going. Okay, now if you'll see over here on this side, okay, right here, we have two radii that come together. Again, imagine I'm drawing a straight line. Okay, we have two radii that come together, and we call that the diameter. Okay, the entire straight line that goes from one edge of the circle to the opposite edge of the circle, going through the center, we call that the diameter. Okay, so that whole thing right there is, in fact, the diameter. Okay, now something important to remember, okay, important to remember is that, notice again, here's a radius, here's a radius, here's the diameter. Two radii, when you put them together, equal a diameter. That's an important piece of information. Okay, two radii equal a diameter. Okay, two radii equal a diameter. We can also say that the diameter is, we can also say that the radius is equal to half of the diameter. Okay, either way, we have to know the relationship between those two things, between the radius and the diameter. Two radii equal the diameter. Okay, the radius, I said it's half the diameter. I think sometimes a better way to write that is actually the diameter divided by 2. Okay, I prefer writing it that way. I prefer thinking about it that way rather than thinking about fractions, even though it's still a fraction. I just prefer to think diameter divided by 2. That's me. Okay, so we have these two pieces of information. So now the outside of the circle, the distance around the outside of the circle. Okay, if you had a circle, okay, that maybe a park that's shaped as a circle, and you were taking your dog for a walk around the outer edge of the circle, we call that the circumference. Okay, we call that the circumference. And the circumference, that advertisement's popping up on my computer. Okay, and the circumference is equal to 2 pi r. Okay, let's see, I was going to use a sticky note, but I think it's better if I just write it out. Okay, the circumference is equal to 2 pi, remember pi is that little squiggly thing, r. And I know I was pretty impressed last week that pretty much everyone remembered that pi is equal to 3.14. Okay, I was pretty impressed that most people remembered that. Okay, so that was a good thing. Okay, so if we want to find the circumference of the circle, we need pi equals circumference equals 2 pi r. Okay, so we would find, so if the radius is 3, let's say if the radius is 3, okay, our circumference would be 2 times, I'm going to switch the order of my radius and my pi, 3 times pi. Okay, and then I know that 2 times 3 is 6. And most of the time, guys, on the ASVAB, they will allow you to leave your answer. If you look at the answer choices, you'll see that most of your answer choices have pi in it. So we can just leave it like that. Okay, we can just leave it right there. Area of a circle, on the other hand, okay, area of a circle, on the other hand, that's the space on the inside of the circle. Okay, circumference is the outside of the circle. Okay, circumference is the outside, and the area is the space on the inside. Okay, if you had, again, a circular space, maybe you were going to put down a circular pool and you needed to fill a certain area with sand, you would need to know the area of that circle so you know how much sand to get. Okay, so in order to find the area, we're still going to need those same 2 pieces of information. We still need the radius is 3, and we're still going to need pi, but our formula is obviously going to be a little different. Our formula for the area of a circle is pi r squared. Okay, remember, we're squaring something, that means we're multiplying it by itself. So for this circle, the area of the circle, okay, would be pi r, we said was 3, so it would be 3 squared. Okay, and 3 squared, that's 3 times 3 is 9. Pi would be my answer. Okay, now if I look at the answer choices and the answer choices have a decimal for all the answers, well, then I'm probably going to have to multiply 9 times 3.14. But if I look at my answer choices and all my answer choices have pi in it, then I can just leave it like that. Okay, so that's the basics. Just remember that they may give you the diameter instead of the radius. If they give you the diameter, okay, if in fact they say, oh, nope, sorry, we don't know what the radius is, but the diameter is, let's say, let's change my color here, but the diameter is 5. No, we'll make it a little easier. The diameter is 6. Okay, the diameter is 6. Find the circumference and find the area. Well, I'm still going to do the same thing, but first I have to find the radius. So if the diameter is 6, I come over to here and I say, okay, well, if the diameter is 6, what's the radius? Well, I know that 2 radii equal the diameter, or the radius is the diameter divided by 2. So I can say 6 divided by 2 is going to give me a radius of 3. And then I can do this work. And notice I just picked so that we have the same problem. Okay, so remember that you need your radius first. Okay, first you find your radius. So now what I would like you to do today is you are going to Okay, I'm sorry, before I show you, this is the notes that we have in your Google Classroom already, and I'm going to be reposting it with this Edpuzzle, okay, so that you have quick access to it. Okay, circumference of a circle, 2 pi r, area of a circle, okay, area equals pi r squared, okay, radius is diameter divided by 2, okay, let's always remember that, okay. For the circumference of the circle, remember that the diameter, since the diameter is 2r, 2 radii, you could also say that the circumference is pi d, okay, but which is the same as pi, which is 2r is the same as d. So whichever way works best for you, stick with it, okay, no need to be changing it up, all right. So this will be in your Google Classroom. And for now, I'm going to ask you to work on this here, okay? I gave you just this area here. There are 6 circles. For those 6 circles, you are going to find, okay, the radius. You're going to fill in 4 things for each circle: the radius, the diameter, the circumference, and the area. Now, one of them will be given for each problem, either the radius or the diameter. Okay, so you'll have to, they give you the radius, you find the diameter. If they give you the diameter, you figure out the radius. Okay, and then you need the circumference and the area. Please do it on a piece of paper. Okay, do the work. Show me the work. If it's just answers, I'm not accepting it. Okay, you must show me how you get each answer. Okay, do the work on a piece of paper. Let me see the work. Take a picture of the work and attach it to the assignment. Okay, you have 6 circles that you need to calculate the radius, diameter, circumference, and area. Make sure you show me the work. Okay, and if you have any questions, I will be available this afternoon in the virtual afternoon Google Meet. Okay, so please pop in and ask me any questions. All right, have a good day, guys. I will see you tomorrow.